In Mill Creek Township, the region's second largest school district went back to class with 3 options for students.
Parents could opt for in-person, remote, or hybrid learning models. Those who chose the hybrid option would alternate attending school in person one day and online the next. Mill Creek had to figure out issues with transportation as well. It's a challenge for any district, but Mill Creek has undergone a change in leadership as well during the pandemic. Dr. Ian Roberts was hired as the new superintendent this summer and officially started work in September. Joins us now the new superintendent of Mill Creek School District. Dr. Roberts, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, as we've mentioned, you've taken the lead in Mill Creek in the middle of an unprecedented crisis, it's safe to say. Talk about what that's been like so far.
Absolutely. Certainly, in spite of its unprecedented nature, I think I just really got incredibly lucky because of the team that I've joined and with a remarkably supportive board. So although we have so many unplanned events and eventualities that we just have to consistently create contingency plans for, having the support of a board, having a community that has wrapped their arms around my transition, and having a leadership team that is just relentlessly focused on students, their safety, their well-being, and strong academic outcomes has made my transition a remarkable one thus far.
Well, you talk about having to be able to react quickly and having to put out fires as they arise. There were reports this week of probable cases, COVID cases, within the Mill Creek School District. Can you speak to that situation as much as you can? And also, what's being done to protect the students and staff in Mill Creek buildings?
Absolutely. So, we have prepared for this moment, and the moment that I'm referencing is September 21st, which is when we were, in collaboration with the Department of Health, identified our very first positive case in a teacher. And the preparation for this eventuality started in May, when we had our team, our task force, actually worked with and worked on and prepared a really strong return to school and health and safety plan. As a part of that process, we hired a pandemic coordinator who is a registered nurse, someone who's a highly qualified public health person, and she has done a remarkable job of just leading us through this time. And so since the first positive case on the 21st, we have had 6 additional positive cases in our students. And we are not panicking. Certainly, we wish we had 0 positive cases. But what gives us sort of a lot of hope is the fact that our pandemic team, in collaboration with the Department of Health and following the CDC guidelines, have a really robust plan in place to help us to mitigate anything that occurs with regards to COVID and the pandemic.
Well, in the same question we asked Superintendent Polito of Erie, what do you need to see before you're comfortable with allowing more students back inside the school buildings?
We have a strong model in place already. We started the school year, and we are the largest district in this area that started the school year with an AB hybrid model, wherein some of our students are learning virtually, and a number of them are a part of what we call our AB model, which means that they are attending school in a brick and mortar setting. At this point, we want to make sure that we are giving our teachers, giving our students, and giving our parents agency about which model they believe works best to meet their needs. Our biggest concern, which is why we are putting a robust structure in place and consistently monitoring that, is to make sure that we have the systems, the sanitization, the disinfecting, and the right processes in place to make sure that our students and teachers are safe.
Dr. Roberts, safety has always been a big part of any school district's job. But with a pandemic now on top of all the other safety issues, how do you make sure that that doesn't overwhelm education as a priority?
Strategic planning and prioritizing what's important right now, what's urgent and important. And the bottom line is we are making sure that what we're highlighting every single day when we meet to brief, debrief, and to contingency plan is how are we going to ensure that every single student who knocks on our doors and every adult who comes in here to serve them are not only complying with the guidance from the CDC, the guidance with the Department of Health and the Department of Education, but we are making sure that we are providing as much support to them as possible. So the wearing of PPEs, make sure that we are actively and consciously social distancing, and we were encouraging the tenets that includes hand washing and mask wearing. And I have to say that with the support of our parents, our teachers and students, compliant is not the word that I want to use, but they are invested in making sure that we all remain safe, because each of our safety depends on what the other person does.
Well, Dr. Roberts, finally, what has been your greatest success, do you think, so far within the district during this?
My greatest success thus far, I think, is threefold. The first is having a board that understands that we are sitting in some uncertain times, and their willingness to be supportive and sort of inspiring us to do the work that we set out to do. The second is a remarkable group of teachers and school leaders. You know, I have not seen individuals who have just coalesced around not just the vision of the district, but understanding that at this point, in these uncertain times, we all have to prioritize what it means to ensure safety as we provide the best instructional models for students. And then the third is the parent community. I have a tremendous amount of gratitude on behalf of the board and my team to express to our parents. Although we've had some hiccups here and there, our parent community has really been incredibly supportive, and we are immensely grateful to them and for them.
Dr. Roberts, Mill Creek School District's new superintendent, we thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
And we also want to let everyone know that we've been collecting data on COVID-19 cases in the area school districts.
Yeah, most of them have given us those numbers, and you can find the data that we have online at yourerie.com right now.